everybody, and welcome back to Italia. And I am trying to figure out an interesting dilemma. So I'm doing a Spelt contract over here on field 36. And according to the contract, I need to take it to IFO rail. And apparently rail is the specific word I need to be paying attention to here, because we have IFO, right there, right? But when I took this to the dump station, I got money for it. And I shouldn't be getting money for it. It should be going towards the contract. So, yeah. So I thought, wait. Do we have to deliver this to the rail dump specifically? So I went over there to where we just left, because it looked like it was a transfer area to transfer grain to the train. It said Spelt is not accepted here. I'm a little confused. David, Optimist, Goldeneye, Squiggy, welcome back. Tristan the man. Kato Papa, how you doing tonight? So yeah, I come here, right? IFO rail. Others were IFO rail, IFE, IFO. This one just says IFO. This one says IFO rail, which makes me think I need to dump it there as opposed to here. Because if I dump it here, some good contrast. If I dump it here, you see I'm getting money. So do I need to dump it in the rail dump station? And if I do, then where do I need to take it? I have to take it all the way across the map. Back to where we were. Let's see. See, it's not going up. I have to dump it in the rails. So if you are playing this map, that is a very interesting thing. The rail dump is coded different than the trailer dump, apparently. David, that's great news about your computer, man. So if we go here to prices, let's see, prices, we just have IFO. We don't have IFO and IFO rail. But it's been specifically coded, this contract wants it taken to the IFO rail. And I tried putting it here, and it said Spelt not accepted. Because I'm like, well, you just put it in there and then put it on the train and take it over there and sell it. Spelt not accepted. Does that mean we have to drive it all the way over to here? Where we were putting it on the train earlier? That seems a little bit much. I'm curious, Div, you all run into this on your own playthrough? Late evening harvest here. It's supposed to rain some tomorrow, so we can't get as much harvested today as we can. I don't know if you all saw, but in the Discord, I did set up a channel earlier today for Heist adventure submissions with some specific information as to the various conditions for which it wants some data about, and everything. So if you're interested in dreaming up a Heist storyline that might be put into the channel for a live stream or premiere, go check that out. Ah, Mervin found out about this. He should have told me about it, man. Goodness, Workbench comes out full victory there. Yeah, I was like, man, was I just that absolute lucky on the other contracts that I did that I just decided to put it in the train? Well, for sure I brought a trailer over here for one of the contracts and then decided for the rest I would put it on the train. Maybe if it's IPO, it's accepted both, but if it's IPO rail, it's only accepted at the rail point. I don't know. Or if I could output straight into the train. Probably could. To keep an eye out for the train. Comes around, we'll heist it. Oh, someone could do a train robbery. Heist the train and stop it. See if I can unload directly into the train. When I first dumped, it was during the countdown timer. Like, whoa, 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 why is my money going up? Why is my money going up? I had to use easy dev controls to fill the trailer again. Obviously that was no fault of my own. No fault there. I'm wondering if that might be a coding glitch. That dump station over there by that silage pit doesn't take Spelt. Oh, here it comes. Slow down. Brake, 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 brake. Kids these days eating on the train engine. And he's gonna work hard. Gotta work hard while Thor's not here. Oh no. Oh yes. When is it supposed to rain? 3 a.m., 9 a.m., and then... Well, that's interesting. Sometime after 2400, which can't be still Friday. Oh, something else I learned is our magic pillow, he doesn't stay where he's put. Remember, this is where we placed it. So he comes back to this spot on every game start. Remember we put it around back? And I was so worried, I was like, no, let's not accidentally, drop it inside. Well, just boot the game back up. Oh, what time is it? 9. So, yeah. So the magic My Pillow goes back to wherever you placed him. If you ever lose your pillow, go look wherever you left him. Where did you put him initially? More days of late summer. I think if you position it just right, so that it's just uphill of the train car, seems to reach. Maybe one day I'll figure out how to lower that silo trigger and get rid of this trailer. That's another thing. If we're a one tractor farm, we can't rightfully dump a trailer if our tractor's halfway across the map harvesting. No, I don't know how to grab the, I don't know how to get a hold of the trigger in GE. I can't figure out how to get it to show up or select it. To then drag it down. So it's one of those, I opened it up, poked around in Giants Editor for about 10 minutes, didn't see anything obvious, and just said, all right, I got other things to do. Right. So, we're waiting on it to dry out. Go dump this in the rail dump station. Because if you're late to the party, then you missed the explanation. That'll teach you for being late to the party. But if you're late to the party, we learned that this dump station is basically two different dump stations. One on the left is IPO, initial public offering, down there. And this one is IPO rail. While they don't show up as different areas in the prices screen, they definitely show up as different in the when you dump it. Because here, contract says IFO rail. Up here, this one is IFO. But if you click on this, it just says IFO. No matter which one we click on, it just says IFO. But I tried to dump grain for this particular contract down at the road level, since we were right here, and it started giving me money. That GTX tell me how to use Giants Editor. Now I'm going to have to try to remember that. Jeez. Right, we are still... Oh. Still wet crop. Still wet crop. Dry crop. So if you didn't know, the calculation to is the crop dry enough or not happens at the top of every hour with seasons. So at 2 o'clock, the ground was still over 21%. At some point between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock, it dropped below 21%. So at 3 o'clock, we calculated it again. Cha-ching, we were ready to rock and roll. We lost a good chunk of the day waiting for it to dry up. That's great because we now have several days of good weather. How is the weather down under GTX? Starting to get colder? As it starts to warm up here, it starts to chill out down there. Hey, Farsi Farms, it doesn't matter what you play. Being here is all that matters. Oh, also, other news. I am able to refill this harvester at the fuel station. Can't refuel that tractor, but darn it, I can refuel this harvester. Which is odd because I can refuel this tractor on Ravenport. $52 today. I don't know what it was today here. I got a feeling it was a lot warmer than that. Let me check. Check the weather. It says it's 58 right now. 58 right now. Tomorrow, high of 72. Mostly sunny. So for the rest of the week, we've got low 60s, 50s. Tomorrow's going to be the highlight of the week. Snow tomorrow. Oh no, oh no. Don't forget about the new emotes. There's a tiger. There's a cat. And there is a raccoon. Screw's Workbench got some parts. Should be able to get down to the bottom of the hill. 18% capacity left. Terraforming, what is up? So who all remembers Spectacle Farm? From Spectacle Island, that is. From Farm Sim 17. Who remembers? I bet you Darren remembers Spectacle Island from 17. Well, boys and girls, it is in the Giants testing thread. So we're going to get another alien gem creation. Soon enough. For those that don't remember Spectacle Island, that map had some trickery going on. So that map had repair a farmyard that when you cut down trees, the debris around the farmyard would go away. So you could clean up. This was before Giants placeable farming. This is before you could place your farmhouse, before you could do landscaping and other things. Alien Gym had it to where you could cut trees, little trees, in your farm, and as a result of doing that, trash and other debris would vanish. And then he had run-down farmhouses. I don't think he had another trick. I don't think he had a trick up his sleeve to clean up the farmhouses. That was always a request, I think. But we've got to see what kind of trickery Spectacle Island has in its 19 iteration. That was a surprise to see in the testing thread today. I don't know. No. I think Spectacle Island had barges. It was one of the. It was a map that was that also had like trees that you cut, and imagine this. Trees you cut and then carved up your own field, our own fields. So imagine that concept. We don't think too much about it nowadays, but in 17 it was a pretty interesting concept. Raz is free from his work. I was trying to come up with another word. Trying to come up with a word, not handcuffs, but it's another word for handcuffs. Uh, 16, you're going to have to make your own. You're going to have to make your own for sure. Shackles is definitely the word I was looking for. Raz is free from his work shackles. Now he is free man. Or as the Dune series calls them, freemen. Shackles of his work have been thrown off. Now he must roam the Arrakis desert looking for water. Avoiding the worms. Richard, what's up? Welcome to this channel. Welcome to the chat. Welcome in general. Farm Sim 19 in Italy. All right, that'll close out this one. Then we got to jump over to 33. Take some rye to Posit Garangio. Maybe I need to go back and the movie was horrible. Which iteration? Which iteration? They're all horrible. I know that his vision of his books, I don't think can still be envisioned. I gotta go back and re-listen to those. I've got them all. Got them all in the Audible library. Oh, Raz, I was talking about that Doomsday book. I'm not so sure it's all that great. Interesting premise, but it's kind of long. You know those books that take way too long to get to the point? Like you're 3 hours in and you're like, are we still like in the intro? Got heavy duty pipe. Yeah, maybe I'll go back and listen to those books again. I've got several of those on Audible. I think I've kind of dropped it. I've got several on Audible. I started watching the show. Started watching the sci-fi show, but I think like a lot of things, the way you vision it in your head, when it doesn't match how it shows up on TV or the movies, then kind of ruins it. It's like, oh, the version I had in my head was so much better. All right, yeah, that one's done. addRequiredCropType. So I'll mention this one more time. We learned right before the stream, IFO rail is different than IFO. So this last contract required I bring grain to IFO rail, which interesting enough is here. Whereas IFO is here. If you bring something destined for the rail to here, it just sells it. That was not a surprise I was wanting to get right before the start of the stream. Yeah, the Expanse TV show, just the whole time I was watching it, I was like, it's not how it went in the books. And I get it. You can't always follow the books because of budget, timeline. But like with Game of Thrones followed the books fairly well up to the point that the book stopped, and then it kind of, had to make its own course. But it followed the books fairly well, given the fact that she couldn't have the cast be as numerous as the named individuals in the books. So part of the doomsday premise, which they explore, is one, it's like set in 2050 something, but it's set in 2050 England. And I think maybe part of the problem is the use of English, Englandish, UK Englandish vernacular for things, which are like, okay, I don't know what that means, but I then have to figure it out based on context. And then there's other things where it's set in 2050, but you get this sense that it's kind of steampunkish. Like they're making phone calls, like with a phone that's plugged into a wall. And you think, it's 2020, who makes phone calls plugged into a wall? Why are we 30 years in the future and making phone calls with a phone that's wired into a wall? Or maybe this is English culture. They have a coffee pot that they keep unplugging and plugging it back in every time they want to make coffee. Like, what? Why are you doing that? Why do you have to unplug it? Turn it off. But the premise is that they send historians back in time to witness the period of history that they're studying. Okay, so it's kind of a time travel book. And the big deal about this particular book is they're sending a young female student back to the Middle Ages to basically do her time study. And it's basically, you know, the Middle Ages and then Black Death and various other diseases, and in general, you know, women were wasn't really the best thing for women to be traveling, period, let alone on their own. Okay, so we've got that story of this girl being sent back through time 700 years to the Middle Ages, 1300s, so 12th, 14th century, right? And her experiences. But then at the same time, 2050 England is going under a lockdown for a possible pandemic thing. So there's kind of things going on in both time zones. I'm not able to get through the whole, why is this like steampunk future? Alright, GTX, I'll check it out. I'll pop it in GE, see if I can decipher your wizardry. So this contract going up here. See if I click. No matter what I click here, I get IPO, IFO. And if I look at the prices screen, all I get is IFO. But somehow they're distinctly separate for contracts. So what did you think of Ready Player 2? That was an interesting little twist there toward the end. Uh-oh, Thor is back. Watch out. Scooter's workbench isn't going to be able to gain on points at all. Hey, Vandrelli, is that how you got Vanderlei? Welcome to the chat. Just hop train rails. Ah, well, every so often I get lucky. Yeah, it's interesting. I can refuel the Colossus Harvester, but I can't refuel this dude's tractor. GTX, did you happen to see Darren's commercial? Flamingo boot, I have absolutely no idea. I don't think it's for selling. Go over here. We don't see green corn listed anywhere. Raz, Darren sent me the original with the ending still intact. Yeah, I don't know. I'm having fun playing on the map and completely ignoring the Maize Plus stuff, other than just growing carrots. Yeah, Darren did a commercial. He'll have to send you the link. And then if you just do Heist without an amount, it's 10. And I looked earlier, the max you can Heist is 1337. That's why the max points is 2674 that you can earn. And again, anybody that wants to dream up their own Heist storyline, put a channel in the Discord with various parameters that the bot needs, or various conditions the bot needs text for, and feel free to come up with your own. Submit it via text file, and you might find your very own Heist featured in an upcoming stream. Oh, Squiggy, it's just something fun. Something fun to keep the natives busy. Squeeze. Oh, I'm too fat to get through there. I wrote it. I wrote the heist. It's running now. But I added the bot. I added the bot last week. You can blame Raz. He added it to his stream. Folks were having fun with it. Thor manipulates the body. He screams at it like a drill sergeant. Cowers in submission. Just throws points at him. You renamed it, did you? You can ask an 8-ball a question. Is this the here's the dump station. It doesn't look like this area has a... Nope, no train dump here. Oh, the answer is within thyself. The heist dealio is basically this. So there's a scenario that some adventurers, so whoever initiates the heist is the lead adventurer, and then you could join the adventure if you wanted by typing !heist after the adventure is started. The adventure starts when the intro text pops up. And then, basically, it's a little story. So, a bunch of adventurers gather banks of the Great Mississippi in search for ancient John Deere tractors because there's been a tragedy 20 years before. The tech crash, farm tech crash, has caused all the farm techs to basically become non-existent. So you're basically scouring the Midwest looking for old tractors to scavenge parts from so that you can fix tractors to collect your harvest. Keep feeding humanity. And there's success conditions, there's fail conditions, and so forth. Jump back to my pillow. Oh, the rain. No. Why did it have to rain overnight? Alright, Raz, go ahead and crash. And here I was going to start the second hour with a question. What on earth is up with Giant's post earlier today? What is 3? What could that be? Indeed, 3. The DLC 3? Well, hey, this next DLC might have 3 implements in it versus the last that had just 2. That would be an improvement by 1. So you initiate the heist with exclamation point heist, and then if you don't put any numbers, you basically are betting 10 points. The number value after the heist is how many points you're betting. If you have a success, you'll double your points. So if you bet 50 points, you'll come out with 100. If you have a failure, you lose 50 points. And there are 3 conditions. There's a complete failure, where everybody loses. There is a partial failure with some part of the party losing, but not everyone losing. And then there's total victory, where everyone in the party wins. There is Right now there is a 75% chance of success. But there are two different successes. A partial and a total. So the generic storyline is basically a treasure hunt, and it's kind of got a nautical theme to it. And if you have success, you come back with treasure. If you fail, then half your party is, or depending on how, if you have a partial success, your party comes back half poisoned, but half survive. If you have a total failure, then basically everyone dies because of a kraken attack. Hey Henry, welcome back. So this was a partial victory. You returned with a load of John Deere parts, but you didn't find any technicians. So you really can't do anything with the parts you got. The only part of the people won points. There's a 300-second cooldown. Angel, welcome to the stream. How you doing tonight? Today? This afternoon? Thor's trying to get to 25,000 points so he can buy a bouncy rubber ball at the prize bench. I'm gonna have to buy one of those one of those prize chests from Oriental Trading. And then when you earn a certain number of points, I have to ship you a prize. Out of the penny crate. Of course, you'll have to pay for shipping. So it doesn't turn out to be such a good deal. Reckless with your points, huh? They are at this point. I could set up a way of redeeming points for things. What's up, Afuna? Well, why use courseplay when you just do it yourself? I stopped using courseplay a good year ago. I got tired of fixing it more than reaping its benefits. So one day I realized that I could have done the work myself and saved time in doing so from constantly stopping what I was trying to do to detangle multiple tractors from each other. That I just threw it out one day and said, forget it. And be quite honest, the in-game hired helper does pretty much whatever I want it to do. And when you play 24-day seasons, I mean, you have plenty of time in the world. Go and hire out all your help. You'll be on day 3 and you won't have anything to do. So we're just reaping the rewards of the contracts as we wait on our own crops to ripen, which should be tomorrow, game day tomorrow. because we have corn in the ground. We got to wait on that. We have potatoes in the ground. We got to wait on them. But we do have carrots in the ground. So hopefully they'll come due tomorrow. And we also have canola in the ground, which will hopefully come due tomorrow. Because right now it's not ready. Right now our canola is ready. Oh, I didn't even know that. Be harvesting my own dang canola. All right, we'll do that later. All right, Angel, thanks for subbing. Thanks for dropping by. I wasn't sure. I do not have straw me installed. No. Wasn't sure how you were going to take that ad. Rather to the point. It gives you a lot more freedom for weather mistakes. So I have 8 days of each transition. You would have 1. So if it rains, overnight, and it doesn't go dry until noon, you have to do basically all your work for early spring, let's say, or early autumn. Let's do that, early autumn, in the afternoon. Me, if I have an entire day of rain, I still have 7 game days to do my work. If every morning it's wet until noon, I still have multiple days left. As far as feeding goes, when you play 3-day seasons, you have to dump a ton of food in your animals because your animals eat the exact same amount for a game year, regardless of season duration. Okay? So let's pretend 10 cows need, let's pretend 30,000 liters of food over the course of an entire year. Well, with 3-day seasons, you're going to have to dump basically all of your, you're going to have to take 30,000, you're going to have to divide it by 12. And you're going to have to dump that much in. Sorry, you're going to have to divide it by 4. Oops. You're going to have to dump that much in every day. Because every day is a transition. And seasons, you feed 3 days worth, which is an entire season. So you're feeding like 7,500 liters per day. So if you play 24-day seasons, that's 8 days per transition. So I only have to feed a very minimal amount per day. which makes it easier to make the amount of food. So here are my pigs. I've got 40 pigs. I need 41,000 liters a year. But look how little bit of food I have actually in the trough. How much little water I have in the trough. Because it's still just 3 days worth. But if I change this to 3-day seasons, they're going to need a whole lot of food. Yeah, what's up? Where's the next iteration of Clossy? We still need to know. Did he beat the train? Oh, Thor's on a little bit of a losing streak. So yeah, we're just having fun. 24-day seasons. I kind of cut my teeth with the 24-day seasons back in 17. And thought I would bring it back out. I mean, these, whenever the next farm sim comes out, I hope these boss trailers still behave the way they do now. Because dealing with other header trailers is just complete and total pain. Well, right now it's locked up in DLC. Pulling it out would violate copyright law in so many countries. Well, I hope so. Because I don't know how many times I have tried to use a regular header trailer and had this dumb stuff fall off because it's just sitting there. I thought for sure they locked down a lot better in 17. I definitely had situations in 17 where I like had a sticky header on a trailer that wouldn't let go. And then you end up dragging the trailer around a little bit. Hey, William, what is up? Welcome to the chat. I don't know what 3 means, right, Afuna? What's 3? We'll have to see. We have something that comes out tomorrow or not. You know, I was speculating earlier that maybe it means that the next DLC will have 3 implements or 3 vehicles as opposed to the last one, which had just 2. We've got 3 months until FarmCon is. FarmCon's in July. Maybe they're going to be announcing the date for FarmCon. I mean, it did look an awful lot, Scooter, like one of those old school movie theater, movie reel countdowns. Hey, Henry, are you joking? Whatever it is, I hope it's big too. I just get this feeling that that this delay as a result of console release is not positive for the franchise. Not that Giants is going out of business type, not positive. But not positive in the franchise with respect to motivation or momentum and player interest. I feel there's been kind of a waning in interest in the game. Now, every week I get people commenting about the Back to Basics series, how they are just new to the game and everything, and it's helping them out. So there's always new blood coming in, new blood discovering the game and experiencing it. But I just feel that only the super diehard regulars are still interested in it, and possibly the casual farmers the delay may negatively impact their return. You know? What's VCA? Thunder Monkey. Virtual Visual Computer Apparatus. So, you know, there's always been the comments of there's been comments of Giants should take longer between the versions, because right about the time a new version comes out, modders and mappers are getting a good understanding of things, and you start getting good quality stuff. But on the flip, do modders and mappers start losing interest in things once they feel that they've mastered it? Or, I mean, we saw it with 17. You know, once they announced 19, mods started to kind of tail off. And when mods started to tail off, because everyone was kind of looking towards the next release, and they didn't want their mod to be the last thing coming out on the old game. They wanted it to be the first thing coming out in the new game. Same logic on why Giants announced they were going to delay. They didn't want their game to be released on one of the last releases on the old platform. They wanted to be a newer release on a emerging platform. So, I mean, even myself, I felt less motivated in the last 4 months to create farm sim content than I did 6 months prior to now. So I think about it from my own perspective. Let's say we had something new that came out in October, November of 2020. It would be 6 months old. It would be we would have so much momentum. We'd be moving into a mod contest. We would have the initial DLCs dropping. It'd be all new momentum. Now the comments we see are, that's probably another DLC. I haven't really been interested in much of the DLCs they've had since, XYZ. I hope it's important. I hope it's big. But I don't have much hope in it because I've lost momentum. So, I don't think it's necessarily a game that can stand on its own for 5 or 6 years before revisions. But I also don't mind that when 19 came out, I did not mind one bit that we didn't have a bunch of mods right day one. Because what it allows me to do, and what it allows quite frankly, any player to do, is use my own video series, get back to basics, and understand how has this version changed from the last. What is different between 19 from 17. There were lots of differences. And the people that don't understand those differences, the people that whine and say that 19 is the same as 17, quite frankly, they never really bothered to understand those differences because they want to jump straight to mods and never really understand the base gameplay. Then when the mods that they do use mess up and don't work, they blame the game as being broken. Because again, they don't have that foundation of understanding how the game is supposed to function. And then when they have a mod that doesn't function the way the base game is supposed to function, they blame the base game without that understanding that no, that mod that you are holding up with such high pinnacle is the very reason that you're having your issues. So use that initial 6 months, 4 months, 3 months, however long it is. Understand the intricacy differences. Because there will be them. So I'm pretty darn sure in 17 you fed your cows different. Pretty darn sure I'm remembering it. And I'm pretty sure when I did my very first cow tutorial, I said things wrong because I was basically going back on how you fed your cows in 17. And then later I realized that, wait, that's different. Now, I couldn't tell you right now how you feed cows in 17 because I haven't played 17 from the day that 19 came out. I kept 17 around because I knew CCS 101 was working on a 17 version of Emerald Coast, and I was going to continue the Emerald Coast series from 17 to 19. So I kept 17 around to bring a bridge between 17 and 19 for that series. As soon as I recorded that bridge episode, 17 was gone. Oh, are you talking about some transmission, like gearbox mod? So, you know, play how you want to play, but I'm a big proponent of wanting to understand the game mechanics before I go and deliberately change the gameplay mechanics. So yeah, next stream we are going to be harvesting our own canola. I might have to ditch some of these contracts. I might keep them around for a little bit. Canola's good, oat, and trick the cow. Let's see, oat. Okay, that's good. Cacao good. Why on earth can you not harvest them past early autumn? What kind of weirdness is that? It's barley. If you're not out of the ground by the end of late summer, you're done. That barley, son, is done. Very interesting. So we'll definitely have to wait and see tomorrow if we get a different number. Right? What happens if we get a 2? It doesn't mean much. Right? As I think it was Scooter's Workbench put in. Countdown from 3, 2, 1, 0. I think, hey Henry, that was I'm gonna call that a failed April Fool's joke. At least that's the general consensus. The reason I call it a failed April Fool's joke is because it was not it was taken too literally. Yeah, a good April Fool's joke gets you, but then you realize you've been gotten. A bad April Fool's joke gets you, and then you never realize you've been gotten, and then you're like, oh. And then you start getting angry. You know, we've probably all been there. We've all kind of experienced a bad April Fool's joke. That maybe carried on a little bit too much, too long. I don't know how to get to that Steam page that shows you things registered. But I suspect if you knew how to get there, it wouldn't be listed there anymore. I think it would have been, yeah, it was a pretty interesting idea. What if instead of it having L, what if the DLC was registered as AF? Right? If it was registered AF, do you think it would have been picked up better? As, oh, AF, I get it. And it was also posted, I think, on March 31st. It was L. So the joke going around was it was going to be a lizard DLC. So I don't know how Facebook like timestamps things. If it's timestamped based on when the person posted it, or if the timestamp that they show is your relative time to when it was posted. But you can't post an April Fool's joke on March 31st. So yeah, so if it's L, and then you think, okay, what could be L? In other words, there's several farm brands that are L, start with L, but some of the joke going around was it was going to be a lizard DLC. Best map? I don't know. I like different maps for different reasons. I like this map because it's very visually appealing to look at and be in. I like Susquehanna River because it reminds me a lot of rural America, where I grew up, where I still live. I mean, I kind of liked Erlengrant. I thought that was a fun little map. Honestly, I didn't have any problems with Felsburn. I thought that was a nice map. Ravenport, I was too annoyed about all the trash. And seemingly the fact that you couldn't even play the game the way Giants want you to play the game with placing your own buildings, because there weren't areas clearly designed for you to place your own buildings on that map. I mean, on Felsburn, the starting farm had a nice flat area and semi-flat area. There wasn't a bit of flat ground on the starting area of Ravenport. No Man's Land was a ingenious concept for sure. I didn't really play much on that map. Personally, I was a little bit intimidated by the scope of having to build out everything. I think a nice, interesting hybrid of that approach was New Lands. Just came out, where you've got a built-out road network and your sell points, and then you basically carve up the fields. There you go. So GTX put that link in there. I'm sure if you go look, there's no L anymore. Map that I don't think got a lot of attention was new Woodshire. That came out a long time ago, pre-seasons, on the Giants Mod Hub. If you don't know, I was privileged enough to be able to do pre-release testing with Seasons, and that was one of the maps that I did a lot of testing on for Seasons, was New Woodshire. So I am looking forward to seeing what Spectacle Island looks like. Saw that show up in the testing thread. That was a rather ingenious map in 17 by Alien Jim. So it'll be interesting to see if he simply brought it forward or what new tricks he might have up his sleeve with this iteration. I don't know, Scooter, if that joke went over too well. Did you? Did it? Emerald Coast was a great map, for sure. %, okay. I think we've hauled, what, 3 loads? Getting about 25% per load. Fury Machine Gaming, welcome to the chat. I think I saw Italia Light back in, or Italia Demo back in testing also. Glad to see that coming back. Scooter's Workbench with the points. I should up the max that you can bet. Make it a bit more risky. Do you think he posed as an imposter and knocked off the crew? I do not have Chellington installed. No, indeedy. Only run map per mod folder. And to be quite honest, 99% of the maps I look at, they do not last in the mod testing mod folder beyond the video upload. Why, Eli? Why should I do that? Be quite honest, this map did not last uploading the video. How's it go any quicker? Still harvesting one harvester. What does speed buy me when I still have 48 more game, or 48 more game days till the end of the year? We're 48 days into the gameplay, and we're halfway through. So, like, for example, this map, upload the video, deleted it out of the mod test folder, and it was only a few days after that that I think, oh, I could probably do something on that map. And I downloaded it again. Now, I did try, Chris, I did take this map, I did slap it into the mod folder that I have for Susquehanna River Valley, but I couldn't pick it. I couldn't go here and select it. Yeah, I couldn't pick it from this list. So does that mean this map doesn't have custom lighting? Because the nighttime lighting and the early evening lighting, I think, is just crazy. When you go here and you change this, like I wish this was like GTX where you can remove it. Because when you go here and you change it to basic, okay, that's, we can see through the blur. Things have a different hue to them. Then we got a Ravenport. They seem to have a different hue and a little bit different. Felsburn. Erlinggrot's a little different than all of those. And Farm Sim League itself is brighter, maybe. But I think it's crazy good, David. The way the lights just light up their little area, it doesn't feel too dark. So, but yeah. Lighting is very specific to an individual's tastes, and to some degree how you are perceiving it. Like when I cycle through all those different lighting options, I can see different iterations. If I take this and I go to here, I mean, that definitely feels like it's a lot more blown out, right? And that feels like it's way too dark. Personally, I can't really tell the difference between these two, other than seeing the change in the blur a little bit. Then you have basic, and then you have off, and you're like, oh wow. So it's off using seasons lighting? I don't know. Oh, contract is done. That means everything in. Nice. Everything in this trailer and everything in the harvester is mine to keep. So we have barley, we have rye. All right, I'm just going to take this back to my silo and keep it. Will, what is up? You like missed the whole thing. We're done, son. Yeah, back on the lighting subject. For those that don't know, I have a degree of color blindness, so overall I'm just less particular about colors because, well, let's just say they don't come through like they do to the average eyeball. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, Snow Runner. Oh, and that's my field. I can't just drive on that. That, boys and girls, is why you eat your Wheaties. All right, while we go run down our header trailer, it is time for us to close out the night, close out the stream, and in recent fashion, the way we do that is to, well, say thank you to all of the wonderful folks who have, where is my header? All the wonderful folks who have joined the channel. And then I will say that, well, we might be streaming tomorrow night on this map. If we are, we will be doing canola. If not, maybe we'll be over on SnowRunner. We're waiting for Susquehanna River Valley to dry out. It is still way too wet over there to make hay. And until next time, happy farming.